Information shared on the following program is for general information purposes only. It does not constitute legal, tax, investment, or other advice, nor is it intended to recommend any particular investments, products, or financial instruments. Always seek advice from your financial advisor, attorney, or accountant with regard to investment, legal, or tax questions.
Tired of all the constant chatter? Let me help you make this real simple.
Welcome to the only show in the country dedicated to helping savers worry less about money, the Worry-Free Retirement, with your host, Tony Walker.
If you got it, you don't need it. If you need it, you don't got it. You don't get it, shame on you. Funny, funny, funny what money can do. Them that have it, get more of it. The less they need it, the more they love it. And it sticks to them like glue. Funny, funny, funny what money can do.
Chatter, chatter, chatter. Is it just me, or do you feel like everywhere you turn, there's chatter? Welcome to the Worry-Free Retirement, folks. I'm Tony Walker, and before going on the show, myself and America's favorite financial sidekick, Aaron Orander, we were trying to define what this sounds like. Let's play it one more time, Aaron. Go ahead, let her roll. Yeah, I don't know how you would define that, folks, but I would just define that as chatter. You know, constant opinions, constant talking points. And you might be saying, well, Tony, isn't that what you're doing? Aren't you about to chatter for the next 28 minutes or so? And I would say, well, my definition of chatter is just aimlessly talking and providing opinions with no real end in sight. We see this on talk shows now. We see this on the various news networks. I think the internet is full of chatter. And in fact, today's subject is as follows: how to not run out of money in retirement. Now, I'm not going to give you opinions, folks. I'm going to give you facts today, because all I do, week in and week out, I've done this now for 30 plus years, is talk to savers about how not to run out of money. I just got back from a conference. It was a conference, beautiful resort there. Monarch Bay Beach Resort. Monarch Bay, I think that's how it was, yeah. But anyway, it was south of Los Angeles, north of San Diego, right on the coastline, beautiful place. And it was for people in my profession. So obviously they had speakers come in to talk about what's going on in the investment world and the retirement world. And one of the speakers had a quote. I could not substantiate this, but it's a great one-liner. And basically he said it's estimated that 70 million Americans will go broke or run out of money in retirement. And I thought, well, I don't know where he got that number, but, you know, I see people all the time who are worried about running out of money in retirement. And we do have solutions, folks. I'm going to share with you several ways that you can put plans in place and how Tony Walker Financial can help you reduce or eliminate possibly this fear of running out of money. But what I did was I said, well, okay, let's just Google. And all I did was I kind of Googled how long will it take to run out of money. You can do this on your own. And it's amazing all the stuff that popped up, all the chatter. Listen to some of these headlines. By the way, it said, yeah, here's what I typed in, Aaron. When will you run out of money in retirement? It said it had about 246 million results. And that's crazy. But here's just a few of them. What to do if you run out of money in retirement. Here's another one. 3 reasons you might run out of money in retirement and what to do about it. What happens if we all run out of money for retirement? I don't know if everybody's going to run out, but that got my attention. 3 ways to recover if you run out of money in retirement. I guess you could go back to work. I don't know what you do there. How not to run out of money in retirement. The fear of running out of money in retirement is overblown. I might check that one out. How long will it last calculator? In other words, you can just plug your numbers into something and it tells you I mean, I could sit here probably for the next 2 days and read various headlines of people, what I would say chatter. Now, again, maybe some of these articles are great articles, but I'm trying to put myself in your shoes. You're a saver out there. You're more concerned with the return of your money than the return on it. You have this legitimate fear that one day your money won't last as long as you do, and you're Googling just like I just Googled. And my thoughts are, oh my gosh, what are all these people going to do with all this chatter? What are you doing with it right now? This show is really dedicated to really all ages. We tend to focus on the people over the age of 50, 55, because generally those are the people that are really starting to think about retirement. Not that a 30-year-old shouldn't, but obviously our clientele, if you dropped into one of our workshops or you dropped into one of our client appreciation events, you'd say, man, yeah, these people are pretty much over 55, Tony, you're right. But that's because, again, these are the people either retired or thinking about retirement. And that's what we do as retirement specialists. We help them get ready for retirement, or if they're already in retirement, make sure they don't run out of money. You know, I was talking to my favorite son-in-law, Trey, and he was on a conference call. He said, Tony, I heard a good one-liner from somebody. And I said, what was that, Trey? Because we've been talking about this theme of too many opinions and too much dogma, too many know-it-alls out there. And he said, a critic. I said, well, let's define critic for a minute, because a critic is somebody that loves to edit, but they never create anything. Now, I'm not going to bash the radio stations and the TV stations. Obviously, we love radio and TV. We're on a lot of those stations. But when you think about it, I even majored in broadcast journalism back at Western Kentucky University. And one of the things I was trained to do was editing. America's favorite financial sidekick has to edit these shows. We're going to put this together, and he's going to edit them. And the thing with an editor, it's kind of interesting. An editor can clip what he or she wants out or add things in. And the problem with a critic sometimes is they really don't create anything. So in this case, we'll pick on Aaron. Aaron, you don't mind me picking on you. Aaron, he's not going to take this personally, but Aaron's not creating anything as we speak. He is making sure the mics are working. He's making sure the clocks are working, everything we need to produce a show. And he's going to produce that show, but he's not creating anything. When I walked in here this morning, I have to create all the content. I have to put everything together. And then Aaron will take it. We've already talked about what we're going to edit into the show. When is the music going to start? When are we going to put this little soundtrack of the chatter? So you see what I'm saying? So Aaron could be a great critic in this definition because he's not creating anything. All he's doing is editing it. And that's the problem, folks. What you have to do, here's my suggestion. Whenever you're getting ready to take advice from somebody in the retirement planning field or investment field, you have to be your own best critic. You have to say, wait a minute, are these people even creating anything, or are they basically just editing and slicing things up? During this conference, I had a couple of advisors come up to me, and granted, fortunately, I've done very well in this business and was honored there at that conference for production in the annuity field. And a couple of guys came up and said, Tony, you've been doing this a long time. Do you really create all of these ideas, or do you just kind of steal them from other people? And I said, well, for the most part, no. I've created something called the Worry-Free Retirement. I've had to create our own proprietary software, which helps my clients understand where their money is, how it's going to be invested, and how long it's going to last. I didn't edit that. I didn't take somebody else's ideas and just hack it apart and threw something together, which is unfortunately sometimes what a lot of people do in this industry. They just kind of hack up stuff. They edit stuff together. They're not creating anything, and the problem with that is they don't really understand the full retirement planning process. So here's what I'm going to do. If you feel like you're maybe working with an editor-in-chief instead of somebody that's really creating something that you can bank on, that you can make sure you don't run out of money, when I come back, I'm going to explain our 5-step process and how this process and the power of protection it gives you of your money will make sure you last as long as your money does, and vice versa. You're listening to The Word for Retirement. I'll be right back. Tired of getting up every day and heading off to work with no end in sight? I'm retirement specialist Tony Walker, and I've helped lots of people retire much sooner than they ever thought possible, and maybe I can help you do the same.
If you're over the age of 50 and have at least $250,000 to invest, schedule your free meeting with Tony to see if you can retire sooner than you think. Simply log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com.
Chatter, chatter, chatter. There goes all that chatter. And we're, if you're just joining us, I'm Tony Walker, and you're listening to the Worry-Free Retirement. Our subject is all of the chatter nowadays, and all of the opinions, and all of the dogma. And our topic today is how not to run out of money in retirement. And if you're just joining us, we were talking about Googling not run out of money in retirement, or how not to run out of money in retirement. So I would challenge you to do that and just see how many people out there have an opinion on this subject. Well, folks, you're at the fact station here. We're not into the opinion business. I literally have over 2,000 clients, and the majority of those clients we are helping, and we are guaranteeing through the products we use, and I'll get into those in a second, that they will not run out of money. I always tell people, I say, when I can't guarantee if I'll provide enough money in the future, nobody can do that. I mean, who knows? But I can guarantee you that you won't run out of money, and that you and your money will last at least at the same time. You ever heard that joke, Aaron? The guy says that I just want my last check to bounce when I die. You ever heard that? Well, that's kind of the case here. And we can even make sure that you and your spouse continue to have an income for the rest of your life. I mean, me and my wife, Susan, I'm getting ready to share with you my annuity, and I have what's called an income rider, or what I like to call the mailbox money account. But, I could set mine up at any time for income. It's all ready to go. The longer I leave it there, the longer or the more income I will get in the future, or more mailbox money. But I can also, at that time of the election, click a little box that says, make sure my wife gets this same amount of money, even if I die first. So I can assure my wife that, hey, Susan, we're drawing this mailbox money. If I die first, you will continue to get an income for as long as you live. And she's like, man, what's not to like about that? It is funny. I was talking to Susan, this is several years ago, and I was trying to explain annuities to her. And she said, well, Tony, I just don't really understand annuities. So I said, look at the statement. I've got a couple of these. I'm going to share this in a second. But I said, basically, Susan, here's the statement. We get one of these a year. Here's the amount of money you're going to get when I die, lump sum. And here's the amount, if we decide to take lifetime income or mailbox money, we'll get for the rest of our lives. And here's what she said. She said, is that guaranteed? I said, yes. She said, can we lose money with this particular contract? I said, no. Her response was, Tony, why in the world wouldn't everybody want something like this? So that's the question for you. If you're a saver, if you're riding around town now listening to this and you're more concerned with the return of your money than on it, folks, if you're in the market right now, you've got a 401k that's going great, that's fine. But did you realize we're long overdue for a market correction? We talked on this show a couple of weeks ago. The bull market is running rampant. And according to the experts that track this stuff, I don't track it that closely, but the experts say we should have had a bear market. Bear means bad, remember. We should have had that back in March of 2018. We're recording this show on October 9th, 2018. The market is going great guns. And my question is, that's great. But unless it's in a guaranteed product, like I'm going to share with you in a minute, it's just on paper. I don't care if you got $500,000 in your 401k. If it's in the market, and you haven't taken that money off the table, if you haven't taken any winnings off the table, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean that you've got $500,000. It just means on paper you do. But until you convert that money into cash, pay the taxes on it, and spend it, you've just got a bunch of money on paper. Now, so let's dive in. What is this magical product that I'm always talking about called an annuity? Well, specifically what we're talking about, number one, we hear a lot of people, this is back if you Google annuities, for instance, boy, you're talking about a lot of opinions, and many of them are incorrect. A lot of people talk about annuities and fees. The type of products we offer Currently, the highest fee on those is 1%. You can even get annuities without any fees. So when you hear people say high fees, they're talking about variable annuities. Variable annuities. We don't do variable annuities. Variable annuities are directly tied to the stock market. There's a lot of risk. That's why the fees are so high. Bottom line. Okay. But if you're a saver, you don't want to mess with variable annuities. Those are for investors and speculators. So a saver likes what we call fixed indexed annuities because you can increase with the market, depending on what the market does. But more importantly, you can add on a rider, and this is called a lifetime income benefit rider. The fees are much lower than adding those to variable annuities, which you can add to them, but why would you want to add fee upon fee? So what I decided to do, I'm going to take a contract that I took out on myself several years ago. All right, and we're just going to, and this, actually the statement on this is a couple of years old. Aaron, remind me, I'm serious on this. I need to get an updated statement on this. So it doesn't matter. It hasn't gone down. I know that for a fact. But let's just go from one year to the next so you can understand how a fixed indexed annuity works, and more importantly, how I'm going to be able to calculate my mailbox money so that I don't run out of money. So in this example, this particular contract, I won't name the company, but this particular contract, and we still have these, has a 10% bonus. This is a fully vested bonus. So back in June of 2013, I put $189,000 in this contract. So the company immediately paid me a bonus of over $18,000. And you say, what do you mean a bonus? Why'd they do that? And I said, well, the reason they're doing this is a long-term contract. If I get out of this contract within a certain period of time, there are huge surrender penalties. But I'm not going to get out of it. I mean, this is not my only money, folks. You don't put 100% of your money in an annuity. That would be foolish. Or 100% of money in any product, quite frankly, is a little scary. But anyway, so I've got other monies, but this is going to be my mailbox money. I want this for retirement. I don't have a pension, so this is going to be like granddad's pension I'm always talking about. So I'm not going to surrender it, all right? So it's a moot point. I don't care if it's got a 40-year surrender. I could care less because the way I'm going to take money out of this, there is no penalty, period. All right. So anyway, so after the first year starting out, I've got the $189,000 that I put in. They paid me over an $18,000 bonus, $18,982 to be exact. And then add to that, this is an indexed annuity, my account, this is my actual account, because the market went up, I also made over $16,000. Now, they took a fee out. That was for the income rider I'm going to describe in a minute. The fee was over $1,600, which leaves me a contract value after 1 year, including the bonus, of over $223,000. Now, remember, you got to remember, you might say, well, what would I have done if I'd put it in the 401k or had it in the stock market? Well, that's not a fair comparison because if you did that, yeah, you might have had more, but you had a lot more risk. See, I had no risk with this. I could not lose any money under this contract. So now I've got $223,000, and that money is locked in. I call that a new floor. So even if the market crashes next year, my $223 is safe and secure. Now, there's a separate account going on. This is why, folks, if you want to order our Annuity Decision Guide for Savers, cut through all the chatter. This is a great, great booklet. Let me point you to our website real quick because you can download this for free. It's TonyWalkerFinancial.com. There's two booklets on there. There's the Annuity Decision Guide for Savers, again, absolutely free. And then there's the Mailbox Money for Life booklet that I wrote. Both books, you get those and read those, I guarantee you, you'll know probably 80% more than most people selling annuities. I went to a conference recently, and some of these fellows I was listening to, I'm thinking, whew, I don't know if you fully understand these contracts. So get those two booklets, TonyWalkerFinancial.com. You can download them, or if you want to call us, we'll mail them to you. Absolutely free. It's 877-499-9255. 877-499-9255. And again, ask for the annuity booklets, the Annuity Decision Guide, that is, and the Mailbox Money for Life booklet. All right, so my income account value. This contract, they don't offer them this high now, but you can get them close, is paying 6.5% guaranteed on what's called the income account balance. And you might say, well, what is that, Tony? How can they afford to guarantee you 6.5%? Well, on that particular portion, that's called the income account value, they will guarantee that at 6.5% for as long as I accumulate the money. I think this one's guaranteed up to 20 years. In other words, if I decide not to take any income out of this contract for up to 20 years, this income balance will grow at 6.5%. And then when I start taking money out, the income roll-up, that's called a roll-up of 6.5%, stops, and they will calculate a payout rate. So they've done that here. So basically, the income account value is $222,000. You take $189 plus the bonus at 6.5%, and it's $222,000. Pretty good. Now that portion is going to grow at a guaranteed 6.5%. So let's flip over to the next page. So with an annuity, my contract was issued in June, so every June I'll get a new statement. So that statement was from June 12, 2013 to June 12, 2014. See how easy this is? Even my wife can track this. She said, I can follow this, Tony. This isn't that complicated. So now my new balance, starting out. Oh, incidentally, if you ever want to watch the TV show, go to the TonyWalkerFinancial.com website. We're getting ready to add another TV station in Louisville. We're in Bowling Green in Louisville. A lot of people love the TV show, The Worry-Free Retirement, because obviously you can watch these and see some of these visuals a little better than you can. I guess you can't see a visual over radio, can you, Aaron? That doesn't even make sense. No, okay. But anyway, that's the whole point of the TV show. I can do a lot more demonstrations of these different products, really about everything. So again, check out the different times of the TV stations that are airing the Worry-Free Retirement at TonyWalkerFinancial.com. So we start out in 2014, and we want to see what happened between June of 2014 and June of 2015. We start with the beginning balance, which, remember, I cannot lose any of that, even though the market would crash. That's $223,717. They take their fee out again of $16.92. That fee has to come out, and that goes to the insurance company issuing the annuity. That doesn't go to me. Now, this year it was interesting. The market didn't do as well. I only made $1,900 due to the stock market. Remember, I couldn't lose anything, but I only made a portion of it, and the market didn't go up as much. So my contract value, basically after the fee, really hasn't grown much. It's at $223,948. So it only grew a whopping $200. Didn't do much. But here's the magic potion, folks. Here is what I wanted this contract to do in the first place. The income account value is not affected by the stock market. It could care less what it does. The purpose of the income account value is to add income and growth to what I'm going to be taking out one day. So it grows by 6.5%. So let's see, last year, at the end of the year, the income account value, that's where they're going to calculate my future mailbox money, was $222,000. Now remember, the market did not go up, but my income account did. At the end of 2015, it went up to over $236,000. And you say, I'm confused, Tony. Where'd you get that number? You take the 222 at 6.5% growth compounded annually, and you get $236,000. So I know for a fact I could take that $236,000. The insurance company issuing this contract has already laid out a schedule for me, and it will tell me for the rest of my life and the rest of my wife Susan's life exactly how much income we are going to have for the rest of our life. Pretty good stuff. Tell you what, let's take a quick break. When I come back, we're going to talk about our 5-step process and how you can walk through this process at absolutely no cost, to meet with me in person, and to see how we can help you not outlive your money. You're listening to The Worry-Free Retirement. I'll be right back.
Are you retired or retiring soon? Do you have a 401k, IRA, thrift savings account, 403b, or lump sum pension that you'd like to move to safer territory? Did you know that all the money you see on your 401k statement isn't really yours? Depending on your overall taxable income, the government has essentially a lien on your 401k that can tax as much as 40% of your money when you go to take it out. Tony Walker calls this the 401k tax tumor. For over 33 years, retirement specialist Tony Walker has helped thousands of savers worry less about money by creating game plans to deal with your tax tumor. Get control of your retirement by controlling the taxes owed on it. Schedule a free meeting to see if you can reduce your tax tumor and provide a guaranteed income you can never outlive. To get started, simply log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. That's TonyWalkerFinancial.com.
You know, all that chatter. Aaron, can we stick a scream in there real quick? There we go. There's a good scream, blood-curdling scream. We're in October, recording the show on October 9th. We're kind of in that Halloween season. We're talking about haunted houses. Think about a haunted house. Now, I'm not big on haunted houses. Some people love haunted houses, but with a haunted house, you know you're going to get scared, but the reason you get scared is you really don't know what's around the corner. You know there's something around the corner, but you don't know what. Well, folks, many of you are treating your retirement kind of like a haunted house. You're intentionally walking into something. You know it's going to be scary somewhere around the corner, but you have no idea of when it's going to happen. And that's the same way with having a process. We want to kind of pull you away from the crowd, from the screaming, the yelling, the opinions, the chatter. And what we're trying to do is help you understand that there is a process that will make sure you know what's around the corner. In working with savers all these years, what I've learned about the saver personality is the savers do not like, number one, they don't like things underhanded. They don't like people not telling them the truth. They don't like all these hidden fees that tend to hit them a lot from Wall Street. And they certainly don't like surprises. They just want to know what to expect. And that's why I developed a 5-step process. I call it the worry-free retirement process. So here's what you can expect. I would like to take you through our process. There is absolutely no cost, no obligation. I've been in this business now 34 years. I am a fiduciary. We're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. As far as annuities, I've written over 2,500 annuities. I'm considered by my peers as one of the top individual annuity producers in the country. In fact, they kid around and call me the Annuity King. I thought it was so cute. I had it trademarked. But we love annuities. We also have our great platform where we can invest some of your money if you want to take a little bit of risk and you want some liquidity. I don't know if you knew this, Aaron, with our Charles Schwab platform that we manage money through, we just hit the 54 million mark. So in just over 18 months, we've placed over $54 million into our Charles Schwab platform, and those are not annuities, folks. That's a brokerage account where I personally oversee that as well, and that's the lowest fee platform that I've seen in the industry. We charge a whopping 0.6%. Many of you are paying over 1.5% for this stuff. It's crazy. So we have both of those products available. We have Charles Schwab where we can do the investments, and of course different companies offering the guaranteed protection of annuities. So what are the 5 steps? The first thing you'll do is meet with me and clarify your vision. We'll sit down for about 30 minutes at either our Bowling Green or Louisville office and just find out what you want in retirement and how we can help. Number 2, we have a second appointment where I provide a free assessment, absolutely free. And here's the best part. It's in writing, and you can take that with you. Now, the third step is for you to commit. You're the one that decides what you want to do with us. You don't have to do everything we recommend, but you decide what you want to do. All right? You might say, well, Tony, I want to move this IRA or roll this 401k. You mentioned this. I don't want to do that now. That's fine. This is your plan. This is not our plan. Number 4, and I think this is the best part, whatever you want to do. In fact, Aaron, somebody just left the office. They want to move over an IRA and a 401k into a fixed indexed annuity. Well, they don't know how to do that. We do everything for them. Our office, we have some of the best clerical staff to provide support services in the industry. I know that because I see how many of you are not getting service properly. We implement, we move the money, we do it all. And then finally, and again, anytime if you're a client of Tony Walker Financial, you need to meet with me at any time. Number 5, the step is we monitor your progress. So take advantage of meeting with me in person. Log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. All you got to do is click on that Let's Get Started or give us a call at 877-499-9255. That's 877-499-WALK. Well, I've enjoyed being with you, and you remember, between now and the next time we visit, if all else fails, you be worry-free.
You don't need it. If you need it, you don't got it. You don't get it. Shame on you. Funny, funny, funny what money can do. Them that have it get more of it. The less they need it, the more they love it, and it sticks to them like glue. Funny, funny, funny what money can do. Ask the rich man, he'll confess, money can't buy happiness. Ask the poor man, he don't doubt, but he'd rather be miserable with